Assalamualaikum. In our last lecture, we discussed some of our temporary storage memory, also called our volatile storage. And today, in this lecture, we will discuss some of our permanent storage devices. And these devices also referred as ROM. It's called a read-only memory, and that is a permanent storage area where your data is going to be stored. This may be your C drive, this may be your D drive. That is one of a permanent hard drive or a USB storage media inside your system. So it's used to store the data permanently. Previously we discussed one of a central RAM, central storage area, which is referred as a RAM. So that is one of our permanent storage area inside your system. So basically we have two types of storages available. One is a volatile, which is referred as a RAM. The second is a non-volatile, which is referred as a ROM, and it's also called a EEP ROM. It's basically a electrically erasable and programmable ROM. So you can electrically erase the data from it and electrically program the data into it. So it's also called electrically erasable and programmable RAM. So you can easily rewrite the data again and again with the help of a CMOS technology. So here is some of an example of a permanent storage. The flash memory can easily be used to electrically erase the data and electrically program the data into it. And the CMOS is one of our latest technology used in these type of permanent storages. It's called complementary metal oxide semiconductor devices. So they are very speedy, they are very less in weight, and they consume less power. So that is one of our advantage of using this technology when building the ROM. So here's one of our example in front of you how portable media might store music into a flash memory. So that is a very simple example. You just plug the USB or flash drive into your system unit, and then system unit with the help of the CU can transfer the data from your permanent storage area into another permanent storage area, which is your flash memory. So here is the important thing when discussing the memories. So access time is the most important criteria we have to discuss. So access time is the amount of time it takes the processor to read the instruction from the memory. So it's maybe your RAM, it's maybe your ROM, but that is access time by your CU to fetch the instruction from a memory. And it's measured in nanosecond. Why it's measured in nanosecond? Because the clock speed of your system is measured in gigahertz, and that is the frequency of your system. Giga means 10 raised power 12, and if you take a reciprocal of giga, that becomes a nano. So a giga means 10 raised power 9, and if you take a reciprocal of a giga, that becomes 10 raised power minus 9, so that becomes nanoseconds. And it's equivalent to the 10 million operations, and it's also referred as a one blink. So here's an example of this nanosecond time scale. It can perform 10 million operations in one blink, one eye blink. So that is a speed of your system. If your system is working on a gigahertz, so that is access time of your CU to access the data from the memory, and it's measured in nanosecond. You have other access time terminologies also available. We have a milli, 10 raised power minus 3, micro 10 raised power minus 6, nano 10 raised power minus 9, pico 10 raised power minus 12. So the clock speed is working on gigahertz, so that is the reason I have to stick on the nanosecond time frame. Okay, the next topic is your extension slots and an adapter card. So adapter card is basically the enhance the system capabilities, and that is our external card, and with the help of our extension slots available in these adapter cards, which can easily be inserted into the motherboard, and provide basically a connectivity to the preferred devices. For example, if you have a you want to connect your keyboard or mouse with your motherboard, so basically you connect your keyboard or mouse with the adapter card first, and this adapter card is inserted into your motherboard. So these cards are basically provide the connectivity of different preferred devices with your motherboards. Yes, and the extension slots are a PCI. It's also called a preferred connection interface, is used to connect the different devices with the motherboard. So it's also called a socket on your motherboard that can hold the adapter card. So yes, it's one of a small area inside your motherboard in which these adapter cards are inserted. So they are very much similar in that way, because the functionality of these two things are very similar. So adapter cards is external cards inserted inside your into your motherboard, and the extension slots are the area where these adapter cards are going to be inserted inside your motherboard. So you have a number of adapter cards example available. Look at this thing. You have a network interface card, you have a PC to TV converter card also available, you have a sound card, USB is also work with the help of our adapter card. So every preferred devices, look at this thing, you have a lot of preferred devices available. So each preferred devices can work with your system with the help of adapter cards and the extension slots. So it's totally depending on your motherboard capacity. It may adopt the adapter cards, it may not adopt the adapter card depending on the different manufacturers. So most of the times, most of the manufacturer provide us a plug and play services for these adapter cards nowadays. So yes, it's provide us a plug and play services. So it's mean the computer is automatically detect your preferred devices when these preferred devices communicate with the extension cards. So that is the a very handy feature with these type of motherboards and these type of adapter cards. So look at this thing, this is your motherboard, and that particular chip is your adapter card, and it's inserted, this adapter card is inserting into your motherboards, and it's provide us a plug and play services. So you can easily plug in a new device and plug out easily, very easily. And the ports are connectors. So ports is a point at which the prefer attaches or to communicate with the system unit. So it's a area where the prefer is going to be attached, so it's referred as a port, and connector is basically join the cable to the port. So we have one cable here, and a port is available. So connector is actually in between type of hardware device. So it's connect the cables and the ports together. So here is some of example. You have see a lot of ports available. There is a USB ports available, you have a FireWire ports also available. It's used to connect the external FireWire, which is used for the security purposes. So you have a number of ports available. You have a old age keyboard and mouse ports also available. So nowadays we have to shift to the USB port. So we also discuss a different variation in the USB ports. So here is some of the example of different ports in your system. Similarly, if you see the notebook and your laptop, so you see these ports are present at the right and left area or front area of your laptop, so the activity is going to be same. So here's the some of other example with the ports and connector. So here's the name or type of a connector available, and here's the picture of these ports. For example, HDMI is one of a port used to send a high definition images or used to transfer the high definition images nowadays. So that is a picture of your HDMI port. And similarly, if you see this type of a port into your system, so this is a digital video interface, and most of the time it's used to carry the high definition videos. Similarly, you have a FireWire ports also available, so you have a USB ports also available. So you have a telephone line in port is available. Basically we have two types of ports available when working with the telephone: line in and line out. So line in is basically the port in your system, and line out is basically the port you use in your telephone. So here is the variation when working with the USB port. So we have with the help of a USB port, we can connect 127 different peripheral devices, and that is a very handy thing. That is mean you just need one adapter cord, you just need one port to connect 127 different devices with just a single port. So nowadays they are very famous, and you have a lot of variations available in a USB ports. The first variation is the type A, and that is one of a picture of a type A connector, and that is mostly used in a desktop and a notebook computer. And then we have a type B connector also available. In a type B you see a SCSI type port available, and most of the time it's used to connect your printers or the scanners. So it's used for the printers and scanners, and sometimes it's also used for some digital cameras. And then you have a mini B ports available. That is not the port used for mobile phone charging. That is a port used for your digital camera. So that is a little bit different from the charging port of your mobile phone. So it's called a mini B port. And then you have a micro B ports also coming, and that is a port coming with your mobile phones. Your mobile phone port is also one of a USB ports, and it's called a micro B port. And nowadays we are working or shifting towards a type C port, and they are very handy, and most of your modern mobile phone, even most of your modern laptops are working with the type C connectors. And with the help of a type C we can transmit 10 gigabit per second. So that is a very good speed, transfer speed when working with the type C connector. It's also used to transmit the power with the less losses. So you can also turn your any USB ports into a wireless adapter. So here's the one of example. The Bluetooth wireless port adapter converts a USB port into a Bluetooth port. So if you plug in this device into your one of a USB port, so you have a one of a Bluetooth wireless ports. So it converts the USB port into a Bluetooth wireless port. And similarly some of our smartphones communicate with each other. Some of our smartphones are able to communicate with some of other device with the help of infrared radiation, that is IrDA, infrared data association. It's referred as infrared data association. So it's also used to transmit the data between the devices, but it's not provide us a very good speed, and it's not working or coming nowadays. We are moving towards the Bluetooth adapters, so this one is our older technology, and that is one of the technology used nowadays. A power supply that is moving towards I'm going to move towards the end of this chapter, and at the end the power supply is discussing here. So it's one of our you can say electrical component which convert your AC coming into your home into a DC power. So every electronic device is working on a direct current. Is not able to work these devices on an alternating current, so have to convert the AC coming into your home into a acceptable level of a DC, and for that purpose we use the AC adapter. So also we have a small physical external power supply inside your system unit. So it's used to convert the alternating current into a direct current level. So putting it all together, in this chapter we discuss a different variation of processor with the different variation of RAMs, and we also see a different permanent storage areas also available. So we see the RAMs, we see the ROMs, we see the Intel generation, what stands for core i5. So if you have a home user, so you can choose any one of this Intel core i3, i5 is acceptable, and 2 GB RAM is going to be enough. But if you want to do some more work, means we want to do some of our graphics, you want to do some of our graphics or animations inside your system, so you have to go a little bit above criteria, and that is a 4 GB RAM. It can work with i7 Extreme, and similarly if you have a mobile user, so you can go again up to a 2 GB RAM. So you also see when you are working with your mobile, you see a RAM up to a 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB is going to be enough. But when you shift towards your desktop environment, when you are shifting towards your laptop environment, we go for a 8 GB RAM, we go for a 16 GB RAM. So that is one of the reasons the mobile phone is not working with the multitasking. And if you move towards your laptop, if you move towards your desktop environment, so it works on multitasking. So that is the reason we need a more RAM capacity to work with the different type of software. So again, if you have a power user, you go for a 8 GB RAM, and if you are working in some of our organizations, so organization prefer in between criteria 4 GB is going to be enough. So here is the end of this chapter. We discussed the component of a system unit, different types of a memory, how instruction data store inside the memory. We see the sequence of operation when working with the machine cycle, and we see a comparison of a different type of a processor. So that is the end of your chapter 4.